Help support MrKingLiam by checking out patreon.com. What's up everyone, this is MrKingLiam here, and today I'm bringing to you another deck profile. However, this one is a little bit of a different one than I've done recently, because this one is actually a little bit of a more casual deck profile. I've done this art style I think I've done this once or twice before, but now I'm bringing to you an update which has been rebuilt and reconfigured, and I think it's probably maybe the most consistent God Cards deck profile I've built. Like I just said, this is a God Card deck profile. So I've done a video or two on this art type in the past, but I've been looking around, doing some research, testing out some new cards, and obviously ban list updates. And yeah, the deck profile I'd say is a lot more consistent than it has been in the past. So let's quickly go through what we've got. Obviously we have Obelisk the Tormentor, Slife the Sky Dragon, and 2 of the Winged Dragon of Ra. Now previously I was only running 1 of each, but with Ra, in recent years Ra has actually got some fairly decent support, so it's actually more playable now. Obviously Obelisk is probably still the best God card. Slifer I have there as another option, but Ra has definitely got the most support. What do I mean by this? The first one, of course, was the Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere Mode. Now this one came out in the Duelist Pack Battle City quite a number of years ago actually, and it's not easy to find that pack these days. However, it did get a reprint in a special edition last year in Circuit, I believe it was Circuit Break. So it was nice to see this card go a reprint. So yes, I'll just quickly go through this effect because some people may not be familiar with it. Cannot be special summon, requires 3 tributes from either side of the field to normal summon to that side of the field. So that means you can summon it to either your side or your opponent's side of the field using their monsters. Then shift control of the card's owner during the end phase of the turn. Cannot attack. Your opponent cannot target this card for attacks or by card effects. And then you contribute this card, special summon 1 Winged Dragon of Ra from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, and if you do, its attack and defense become 4000. So the problem with Winged Dragon of Ra is in the anime it's the strongest, but in the card game it's actually the weakest. Because in the card game you have to pay pretty much all your life points so that you only have 100 left. So obviously if this card gets destroyed you can pretty much be hit with a 1-punch knockout. The second effect isn't that bad. You can pay 1000 life points and target 1 monster on the field to destroy that target. So it's not too bad of an effect, but it's not as consistent as Obelisk, that's for sure. But this card certainly gives Ra a good needed boost. But this was the first of 2 new cards, the second one of course being the Winged Dragon of Ra Immortal Phoenix. I didn't mean to put an abbreviation on Immortal, it just came out that way. So yes, this card was excellent support for Winged Dragon of Ra, made it a lot more playable. So it can't be normal summon or set, must be special summon by its own effect and cannot be special summoned by other ways. So this card isn't like a normal card, so basically you can't like bring out normally. It has to be summoned in a specific way. If the Winged Dragon of Ra is sent from the field to the graveyard, while this card is in the graveyard, special summon this card. Cards and effects cannot be activated in response to this effect's activation. This card is unaffected by other cards' effects. You can pay 1000 life points to summon one other monster from the field to the graveyard, so it's got Ra's effect there. But this is the really good thing. Once per turn during the end phase, send this card to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon 1 Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere Mode from your deck, hand or graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. So if you bring out Sphere Mode and then bring out Ra, if Ra is destroyed, you can bring out Immortal Phoenix. If Immortal Phoenix goes, then you can use Sphere Mode, and then you can get out another Ra, and the cycle continues. The only problem is just getting Immortal Phoenix into the graveyard. But if Immortal Phoenix is in the graveyard, then you're pretty much set, I'd say. And finally, for level 10s, we're actually running 1 Malefic Cyber Dragon. This card actually works quite well with this deck. So, but I'll explain that a bit later. Now for the cards that will help you bring out the god cards. First off, we have 3 Ra's Disciple, and you're going to be running through these. It's just that simple. When this is summoned, you can special summon up to 2 Ra's Disciple from your hand and or deck. Cannot be tributed except for the tribute summon of Slifer, Obelisk, or the Winged Dragon of Ra. So that's the only downside. I'm not sure if Sphere Mode will work with this. So far, I believe it doesn't work on DevPro, but I'm not sure what the rulings are, if I'm honest. Maybe it's just those 3. But yeah, very good support, especially if you team up with Double Summon. Next up, we have Aromajar. Now this, I'm running one of these because there is a lot of flip effect monsters in this deck. So before, I believe I was playing a level 1 beast deck using Werewolf Thou, but I'm running a flip engine this time, and it can actually help with getting some targets. So this is the first one. When this is flipped face up, when this is flipped face up, this card cannot be destroyed by battle while it's face up on the field, so it can only be destroyed by card effects. If this card is flipped face up, during each player's end phase, you gain 500 life points. So this could also help if you need to get out Winged Dragon of Ra on its own, so this could give you a life point boost if you end up in that scenario. And it could also help with Winged Dragon of Ra's effect, and same with Immortal Phoenix. Next up, we're running 3 Marsh Macaroon. So this is another flip effect. When this is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can special summon up to 2 other Marsh Macaroons from your hand, deck, and or graveyard. So, like I said, another way to get out some targets. So it's pretty good there to get out some more tributes. Next up, we're running 3 D-Boys. When this came out, I think Slifer the Sky Dragon was pretty much the only deck it was good for, and if I'm honest, it kind of is. But now with the new support, it is a little bit more useful, I guess, in the God Card deck profile. So, flip. When this is another flip effect. When this is flipped, you can special summon any number of D-Boys from your deck in face-up attack position. Then you take 1000 damage for each monster special summoned by this effect. It's not quite as good as Marsh Macaroon, and definitely nowhere near Ra's Disciple level, but it can come in handy. Just make sure you don't have the life points. Just basically make sure you have enough life points to use it. And that's also another reason why Aromajar can also come in handy later on. And finally, we're running 3 Scapegoat. So this is another flip effect. You can special summon any number of Black Sheep tokens to the field, which I believe Obelisk the Tormentor can actually use for his special effect when you contribute 2 monsters, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. So that can definitely come in handy there. So those are the monsters. Good amount of monsters to try and get the God cards out. But like I said, Malefic Cyber Dragon, all it needs is just a field spell and the Cyber Dragon in your extra deck. And speaking of field spell, we're running 3 Mound of the Bound Creators. Now this definitely helps out for Slifer and Ra. Obelisk can't be targeted by card effects, but this is where Mound of the Bound Creator comes in to help Slifer and Ra. So basically, level 10 or higher monsters on the field cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. If a level 10 or higher monster on the field destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, the player who controls the destroyed monster takes 1000 damage. When this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 divine monster from your deck to your hand. So, in a way, when it's destroyed, it can help get. It is a searcher, so it can help get out one of your god cards. It protects all your level 10s, and that does include Malefic Cyber Dragon, which is really useful if you want to use just a stall card, an instant 4000. So yes, it definitely helps out with Slifer and Ra, and yes, definitely good card. Next up, we're just going through staples. We got 1 Regeki because pretty much every deck uses it. 1 Day of Peace. This card helps as a stall card, so each player draws 1 card, another player takes damage until the end of the opponent's next turn. So it can help as a stall card just while you either bring out your normal summons or look for the god cards. And speaking of looking for the god cards, and also running one double summon as well. So that helps out with like D-Boys and Marsh Macaroon. So, and speaking of store cards, well, searching for the god cards, these next two cards really combo quite well with each other. The first one is in running 2 of the True Name. Now, in the anime, the Pharaoh, this is basically the Pharaoh's tablet in the corner. So basically he finds his name and then has it on a parchment, I believe it's called. Something like that. So, the way this works, you declare one card name, excavate the top card from your deck, and if it is the declared card, add it to your hand. Then you can add to your hand or special summon one divine monster from your deck, otherwise send it to the graveyard. You can only activate one the True Name per turn. So this card is a very good card to get your searcher. I suppose you may be thinking, how can you make sure that the card you excavate is the card you declared? Well, that's where the next card comes in, because the next card is 2 Card Advance. Now this card definitely combos quite well with the True Name. So basically this one is look at the top 5 cards from the top of the deck, then place them on the top of the deck in any order. So like the card you want to declare, you put that at the top, use True Name, bang, you can get that card. Also, the other effect is you contribute summon one monster in addition to your normal summon set this turn. So that's another way to get the god cards quicker, without needing to rely on double summon so much. So yes, these cards definitely combo really well. Also, just as a side note, Card Advance is actually really hard to find. I was just purchasing one for the physical version of this deck, because sometimes I do like to build the deck physical, with the exception of Regeki, that's quite expensive. And this card is actually very difficult to find. I think this card's only been printed in Battle Pack 3, which is strange. Which is strange to think, because Battle Pack 3, not many people bought it. So you'd imagine that there's plenty of card advances, but maybe that's the reason why. Also, just on the side note, since Regeki just got reprinted in Legendary Collection Kaiba, I believe these two are by far the most expensive cards in this deck currently. Winged Dragon of Ra and Mortal Phoenix was in Millennium Pack, which is not that easy to find anymore, and Cyber and Dragon, of course, was in the movie pack, Bonds Beyond Time, and that has another reprint either. So these cards are probably the pricey part of the deck, along with maybe Regeki, and Card Advance might be hard to find. So, but apart from that, I'd say this is a fairly budget deck. Now we're just going to finish up with the rest of the staples. So we have Soul Charge, Upside Goblin for your Draw Engine, 2 Terraforming to find your Land of the Bound Creator, 1 Foolish Burial. This card you probably need in order to get Immortal Phoenix in the graveyard. Actually, leave in the comments down below, like if there's any other card to get Immortal Phoenix in the graveyard, because I'll be very much appreciated if I'm honest. 1 Monster Reborn works really well, obviously bringing back god cards. Also, you could actually use it to bring out Winged Dragon of Ra, and I believe you might be able to combo it with Immortal Phoenix, if I'm correct. 1 Pot of Duality, 2 Twin Twisters, and 1 the Monarch Stormforth. So this card does work well, so you can it's almost a brain control tribute sort of mechanic. Now for our traps, these are mainly stall cards. Threatening Roar, Reckless Greed for the draw phase. That mainly helps with Slifer, I think, most of all. The first Monarch, this is just another way to get a tribute target. So basically, this card is treated as an effect monster. If summoned this way, you can discard 1 card. So that's another way to get rid of Mortal Phoenix, I guess. This card's become the attribute and can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a monster with the same attribute. So yeah, I think that's the combo. I must have forgotten about that. So yeah, use first Monarch. If that's in your hand, you can get rid of Mortal Phoenix. That's another way. So this will treat as 2 tributes for a divine monster. So then you bring out one of these monsters. Then you can use double summon, bring out your divine monster. So yeah, it's not bad. Not a bad card to run in this deck. And finally, we're finishing off with Call the Haunted, Solemn Strike, and Solemn Warning. 2 trap cards. So that's the main deck. Just a quick flick through the extra deck. Most of the time you're not going to be using these because you're going to be trying to get out the god cards. But there is a couple of cards which probably is useful. But the one card you definitely do need in the extra deck, regardless, is Cyber Dragon. This is of course to get out Malefic Cyber Dragon, because you need to banish one from your extra deck to special summon it. But apart from that, these are just handy like tech cards, just in case you run into problems later on. So I've got a form of Synchron, Armades, and Black Rose. This is just in case like I combo into them. So form of Synchron and Armades into Black Rose. Because Scapegoat is a tuner, a level 1 tuner, so sometimes it does come in handy to have some level 2 and level 5 synchros. And obviously you could go for a Black Rose later on. Although I'm not sure how that's doable, if I'm honest. Oh, no, so you could bring a Monster Reborn or Call the Haunted. There we go. Because I was still thinking I don't have any Link monsters. But yeah, just have Black Rose on the off chance. And now for the links, this is mainly just level 4s because, well, in the off chance you bring back Ra's Disciple. So you've got Gemini Pole, Dark Rebellion, Exceeds Dragon, Utopia, Papal Operative, 101, number 50, number 82, because of course we do have a field spell, so it works well with that, Castell, and Go Cowboy. Like I said, I hardly go for these, but it's just nice to have some choices in the deck if needed. So, there was my Egyptian God card deck profile. Leave in the comments down below. Yeah, leave some feedback in the comments down below about what you like about this deck and also what you might change about it. There is also a couple cards I was running. I was running a Tsukiyomi, another Sphere mode, Dark Strike Fire instead of Black Rose maybe, Double Summon, Card Advance, so these type of choices. I did try a Jar of Avarice at one point, so it's a recycle engine, but I figured you want to keep Immortal Phoenix in the graveyard, and also Sphere mode. You can bring that back with Immortal Phoenix. So part of me figured it wasn't too much a problem not to have Jar of Avarice in the deck. So yes, there was my Egyptian God card deck profile. I believe this is going up the end of March, just before Easter, I believe so. Yeah, I believe that's right. I was meant to do this earlier, I have to admit, after the opening of Premium Gold, because that could tie in. Like, Premium Gold has, of course, the gold cards, so that would have been maybe a nice tie-in, but oh well, never mind, better late than never, I guess. So anyway, if you enjoyed this deck profile, then please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel to know when my newest content will be coming out. Also, be free to check out my previous deck profiles. Getting all my rides wrong for some reason. And also be free to check out the Premium Gold opening I did a few months back. I hope. Oh, and if you want to support MrKingLiam, then please make sure to check out my Patreon page. The link will be down in the description below, and also at the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and for now, this is MrKingLiam, signing out.